In astrology, everything has a birth time, but knowing as accurate of a birth time as possible is critically important. And Robert Glasscock and I have created a program to help you do just that. A crystal clear 30-minute video outlining the technique, an MP3 of a podcast explaining it, and a step-by-step instructional PDF. So you get it 3 different ways, and how you get it is at the top of the funastrology.com website. Check it out and give it a try on your own chart.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Alisa Dixon. Happy Friday to my fun astrology friends. The moon is in Sagittarius today and tomorrow, which means we are going on fun adventures this weekend. Maybe literally, or maybe these adventures will take place more in our minds or imagination. Because with Mars in Cancer still retrograde, our ability to act or do things or go places is a little hampered. But the moon is very active all weekend, making connections with most of the other planets. Today, the moon makes an opposition to Jupiter in Gemini. Remember a couple weeks ago, Mercury was in opposition to Jupiter in the same position where the moon is now. We felt that push-pull that is common with oppositions, where we were trying to balance big ideas with all the little details. Does this sound familiar? Now that the moon is passing through this same place where Mercury was, it's an emotional check-in to what was going on a few weeks ago when Mercury was there. Remember that mental drain we felt after all the Mercury energy right around the holidays? Well, how are we feeling about all of that now? There's no good or bad to this, but don't be surprised if something surfaces emotionally today that brings you back to the Christmas week. Moving on to tomorrow and into Sunday, the moon squares all of the planets in Pisces one by one. We've been talking a lot about these planets in Pisces lately. Saturn is there, Venus is there, Neptune is there. When the moon squares them, it really just means that the moon is going to trigger feelings about what we want or what we're building towards. Our goals, our dreams, things we are manifesting into reality. With Neptune and Venus in Pisces, love, joy, imagination, and creativity is all very strong here. Saturn in Pisces is not an obvious ally because it can feel hard to build something concrete in a water sign, but Saturn in Pisces can be a great placement since Saturn is all about achievement, and Saturn can bring the discipline and the structure to turn dreams into reality. So when the moon squares all of these planets, we are likely to feel happy and excited about our dreams and our goals, and we might find ourselves imagining how we can plan to achieve them. Squares are all about driving actions. But then, in the midst of all these good feelings, the moon is going to form 2 stress aspects with Mars and Uranus. Mars and Uranus are actually working really well together right now. Uranus is bringing an electric new approach to Mars, and I think it has something to do with our dreams taking shape over in Pisces. Maybe you guys are getting some great new ideas, these light bulb moments about how to build those dreams, maybe by doing something differently than before. But the moon coming along, making these stress aspects, quincunxes to both Mars and Uranus, is bringing some frustration into the mix. Maybe some impatience, because the fiery moon in Sag wants action and forward movement, and retrograde Mars just can't deliver that right now. The timing just isn't right yet. So this weekend, I think a bigger story is unfolding, but in a very internal way. Here's an example. I'm going to share with you my bigger story that's unfolding and tie it to the energies of the planets I just covered. So I've been working towards going out into the world as an astrologer and not only building my own astrology practice, but also launching a website and a podcast of my own. I've been inspired by Thomas and Liz Grace and many others that I listen to on a daily and weekly basis. In the fall, I wrote out goals for when my website would be up and running and when I would launch my podcast. And through this Mars retrograde, the timing has slowed a little bit. So I've been reflecting a bit about my big picture ideas of building the website and podcast and all the little details that need to go into that. This would be the moon passing through the place where Mercury recently opposed Jupiter. I'm super excited about what I'm building, and I'm planning new action around it. That's the moon squaring Saturn, Venus, and Neptune in Pisces. I'm also a little frustrated that I didn't meet my original timing because other things have come up that needed my attention sooner. Here's the moon quincunx Mars and Uranus. And I'm taking a new approach here today. Here comes the Mars and Uranus working together. And I'm going to ask you all for your ideas on what you'd like to hear me discuss as topics for my new podcast. And I'm not going anywhere. I will continue contributing to the Fun Astrology podcast as long as Thomas welcomes me here. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Any ideas for topics, anything you've heard me say that you'd like to hear more about, or anything else you can think of. I would so appreciate hearing from you, my future Astrology with Alisa audience. And if anyone is open to sharing, I'd love to hear your bigger stories that are unfolding in your lives through this weekend's energies. Thomas will be here tomorrow with Merriman's Market Analysis. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great weekend.